Hey there, I'm Steph Fizer Coleman. Welcome to my studio. I'm a nature artist and a children's book illustrator, and today we're going to make a piece of art that celebrates both of those things. All right, so before we get started, let's quickly go over the supplies list. So everything that we're using today is going to be from Caran D'Ache. We're going to be using Neocolor 2 water-soluble wax pastels, which is one of my favorite materials to use. We're going to be using Supercolor soft water-soluble colored pencils and luminance colored pencils. And then we're going to be using this pan set of gouache. We're going to be using this really fun palette that is going to let us use our Neocolor 2s and our Supercolors in water-soluble ways. So that's really exciting. And then we've also got this set of 3 water brushes. So this set includes a medium and large brush tip, just like a regular brush tip. And it also includes a fiber tip as well, which is really fun. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with our sketch. So we're going to be painting an owl in mixed media today. So let's go ahead and start out just by doing a real quick rough sketch of our owl character using a Supercolor pencil. Which is great because the Supercolor pencils are water soluble. So as we add layers to this illustration, the pencil is just going to blend and dissolve, and we're not even really going to see this line art anymore. But it's nice to have this guide when you start working. So I'm going to start with my Neocolor 2s, and I'm going to start using them as watercolors. So we're going to scribble them on the palette, wet our water brush, and then we're just going to start blocking in the colors for our owl and our branch. You'll notice I'm being a little rebellious with the water brush because I'm dipping it in water, which is absolutely unnecessary, but it's just my personal preference. When I have a cup of water available, I like to dip into it. You absolutely don't need that. This brush holds water as well, so it's perfect to use anytime you're not in your studio or you just want to be really portable. So I'm just continuing on with a couple of other colors of Neocolor 2s. I'm bringing in a yellow and a flame red. I'm going to start really loosely blocking in some of my autumn leaf shapes. I'm not trying to make these perfect. I'm really just trying to get a sense of the first layer of color. And we're going to be layering more color on top of this. So these colors might seem just a little bright on their own, but we are going to layer some different browns and rusty colors on top of them. And you're going to see as we build up these layers how beautiful and cohesive everything really starts to look. So I know these look rough now. This is always the point in the illustration where I start to wonder if I have messed up, if I've made a mistake. So if you are painting along with me and you're thinking, uh-oh, don't worry, I promise. We're going to start neatening things up a little bit here in just a minute. So we're going to add a few more details on the owl. So we're going to darken the wings and the face feathers, add some tail details. And now it's time to start layering some more color on our autumn leaves. And we're going to start bringing in some orange. So we're grabbing this orange color from the gouache set, and we're mixing it with some of the dark blue that we've already got on our palette, which is also from the gouache set. We grabbed that blue and mixed it on top of our Neocolor. So we're really just trying to mute this orange color just a tiny bit. And since blue is a contrasting color, or is a complementary color of the orange, it's really going to help us get this nice sort of like rusty brown color that like feels so much like autumn. So we're just taking that color and we're going to start making nice, neat leaf shapes. We're going to vary where we lay down this color. And then we're also going to have a couple of other colors. We're going to have a lighter sort of beigey orange color. And then we've still got a yellow that we're darkening up a little bit that we're going to use for some of the leaves. So you can see it's already starting to look a little bit more autumnal. You really start to smell that crispness in the air. So our little owl friend and his leaves are really starting to come to life at this point. This is where things start to feel really good. So we're painting leaves. We're painting leaves. we're neatening everything up. It's really looking beautiful at this point. And now it's time to grab our luminance colored pencil and start adding some details. So I'm just adding some veining in the leaves, and I'm adding some little branch details as well so everything connects. And this is the Prussian Blue Luminance pencil, which is one of my favorite colors. My other favorite is Payne's Gray, which we're also going to use in a few minutes because I can't make a piece of art without using a Payne's Gray Luminance pencil. It's obviously a rule. So we're actually going to get started adding our details on our owl now. We're going to draw in a little beak, and then we're going to add this beautiful terracotta color. We're going to add a little bit of contrasting color into the head feathers. And now let's add just a little bit of shape to the head. I just want to have some definition here. So his head and body have some sort of separation. And let's add a few little chest feathers and some little tummy feathers as well in some different shapes and colors for some contrast and variation. And then, of course, here comes my trusty Payne's Gray pencil. We're going to be adding in just some fun details on the wing. We're not trying to be realistic here. We're really just trying to have like a fun owl character that's really full of character. So I'm going to draw on his little feet. They're so cute. And then we're just going to keep going with our Payne's Gray. And we're going to add in the eyes. I always think owls look kind of grumpy. And I don't think this guy's any exception, but I just love it. I think it's part of the charm of owls is that they always just look a little bit grumpy. So we've got his eyeballs in here, and now we're going to switch back to our Neo Color 2. And this time we're just going to use it as a water-soluble pastel. So we're just going to use this dry instead of wet. And we're just adding some textural details and some contrast. And we've already added some of that to our leaves as well with our Neo Color 2. So you can see it just gives a really nice variation, just like some really nice, like chunky kind of details that really suits this sort of mixed media illustration. Now, we're going to do one final touch with our Neo Color 2. I'm going to use another one of my favorite colors, which is salmon. And I'm just going to add in some little contrasting line art leaf shapes. I think this just gives this illustration just a little extra detail that just makes it feel just a tiny bit more special than it already is. So just being kind of selective where I put these. I don't want to overwhelm. I just want to add a few just to add some visual interest. So I'm just going to be real selective. And now I have got my Luminance pencil back out, and I'm just adding in some little bud details on the branches. And now it's time to get our trusty tube of white gouache. I'm going to put a little bit on our palette here, and then we're going to take a small brush and start adding in some white details on the owl so we can really have some nice contrast, some more texture, and some more visual interest. So I'm going to start out by lightening up the face area. I want to have more contrast between like the body and the face. So I'm just adding like a really thin wash of this white gouache from the tube. And then I'm just going to continue to add more white details to our little owl friend. So we're going to add some white details to the tummy feathers here. All right, so now we're adding in our final white details. We're just adding some little touches of texture and line to the wing area, adding just a tiny little bit more pattern. And then we're going to be finished up with our lovely mixed media owl creation that we worked on today using Caran D'Ache materials. Isn't he adorable? I hope you had fun watching me make art today. I know I had fun sharing with you.